And so what's happening today in America that should outrage everybody? He's taking the very same agency that has been bursting into our schools, into our churches, into our hospitals, into our courts, and even into the homes of Americans. He's taking that agency that is reckless and out of control and bringing them to our airports under the lie that somehow this is going to help deal with the long lines that he created in the first place. This is an outrage.
Predictable meltdown. Anyway, temper tantrum here with Reaction. Border czar Tom Homan is with us. Is he referring to the brave agents that are arresting murderers, known terrorists, child molesters, other violent criminals, drug cartel members? Are those the agents he's talking about? Because I think he's got to ask backwards as usual.
Well, apparently, because that's exactly what ICE is doing. They're out there arresting the worst of the worst and making his state and his cities safer, because we're taking a lot of public safety threats off the street. But I want to say one thing. He's misleading the American people. He's lying. Now, I want him to give me one example, just one, when ISIS went into a church to arrest somebody, or we went into a hospital to arrest somebody, or we went into an elementary school to arrest somebody. Just give me one example. You know why? He can't, because there isn't any. Now, I think there's been one case nationwide in the past year where we're in hot pursuit chasing an illegal alien who ran into an education center. You're damn right. We went in there and arrested him near the front door. But as far as planned enforcement operations in those places, hasn't happened. Matter of fact, the only people that violated the sanctuary of the church was Don Lemon and that group that went in there to attack, Trump supporters while they were having a religious service. So he's misleading the American people, and that is part of the hatred toward ICE agents that's driving the violence. You mentioned before, 8,000% increase in threats. Because of things that people say like that are untrue, it causes the hate to rise, which is, of course, going to end in more violence, more bloodshed.
You know, you look at where we are, the most preventable national security disaster in the history of this country. Now, after 5 votes in the Senate that they wouldn't fund the Department of Homeland Security, now they want partial funding. But here are the restrictions. They won't fund ICE, and they will insist that ICE agents cannot wear a mask. After the threat level is up 8,000%, after these guys have been attacked, after they have been doxxed, I don't like that idea at all. I don't think it's safe for them.
And it's not going to happen, not as long as I'm here. I mean, the men and women of ICE, not only are they being doxxed, their spouses and children are being doxxed. I know that from a first-hand experience. So, they're going to wear masks as long as they're doing, these operations in the street looking for the bad guy. I mean, once the hatred stops, once people like Cory Booker stop saying the things he's saying, maybe the hate will reduce. Then maybe we can think about the masks. But these officers' identification, they have badges and badge numbers. Border Patrol has their last name on uniform. You want to know who these people are? You can find out who these people are. But we're not going to stop doing this job. We're not going to. They want ICE not to operate in sensitive locations. Here's what I said from day one: there is no sanctuary. There is no safe zone for significant public safety threats and national security threats. Those are the people we need to arrest and deport from the country, and we're going to keep doing it.
Let's talk about this Venezuelan illegal who'd been caught and released by the Biden administration. I mean, what can you ever say to the family? I think there were 2 telling moments. A little over a year ago when the Democrats wouldn't stand for Laken Riley's family or Jocelyn Nungary's family. Then when the president said, if you agree with this statement, please stand with us in the State of the Union address, that American safety is more important. Our first duty is to protect Americans over illegals. That is a pretty simple thing to stand up for, but they didn't stand. How do you interpret that?
They hate Trump more than they love their communities. They hate Trump more than they take the safety and security of our communities. Look, it's just another one. And I've been fighting sanctuary cities for 10 years. I have met hundreds of angel moms and dads who buried their children because their children were killed by an illegal alien. And I can't tell you how many young women, just in the past couple of years, would be alive today, whether it's Rachel Moran or whether it's, Lake and Riley, whether it's this young lady, if they would simply just work with ICE, if their law enforcement would work with ICE when they arrest illegal aliens for crimes, we could save countless lives in this country. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
DHS funding is interconnected. The president is correct. To the SAVE Act. What does the SAVE Act require? Proof of citizenship and voter ID. Why would any elected official be against that? You need voter ID to get into their convention every 4 years. Or you need picture ID.
Why would any member of Congress, why would any member of Congress defund the Transportation Security Administration that protects our skies? Why would they defund Coast Guard? Why would they defund CISA against cyber attacks? Why would they defund FEMA? I mean, you're talking about not funding the Department of Homeland Security, which is their number one responsibility as a representative in Congress, to protect this country. And they're voting not to protect this country. And look, Donald Trump made a brilliant move this week, and he called me and says, let's send ICE to the airport. I thought it was a smart move. And we're filling the holes. The wait lines already dropped. Plus, we're doing a security function at the airports. We're going to arrest criminals going through this airport. We're going to look for human trafficking, sex trafficking, money smuggling. We're going to be at the airports working with our brothers and sisters of TSA. They're our brothers and sisters within DHS. President Trump made a smart move. We're going to keep the airplanes flying. We're going to get the American people through those lines quicker. And we're not going to give up President Trump's promise to American people to make this country safer every day. And that's what we're going to keep doing.
Tom Homan, we're grateful for you and all these guys that put their lives on the line to get the worst of the worst. We appreciate you being with us. Here with more. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
The air is thick with tension as the battle over America's borders reaches a boiling point in the halls of power. This isn't just a policy debate. It's a visceral, high-stakes confrontation between the safety of American citizens and the political maneuvers of those in Washington. The segment opens with the heartbreaking news of a young life cut short. An 18-year-old student allegedly murdered by an illegal migrant who had been previously arrested and released. The fury is palpable as the discussion shifts to Senator Cory Booker's scathing accusations against ICE, calling the agency reckless and out of control. But the response from Tom Homan is nothing short of explosive. He doesn't just disagree, he dismantles the senator's narrative with surgical precision, challenging him to provide a single shred of evidence for his claims. This is a cold-blooded pursuit of the truth in a landscape filled with misleading statements and rising threats against federal agents. Every word spoken is a heavy blow in the fight for national security, making this one of the most intense showdowns on the air.